part of the youth team many years ago. Yeah, he did. When Matade was this small. Now he's like the tallest person in the room. It's just good to be here with you guys. What I want to do straight away is I want us to, with the people around us, to answer this question, okay? What do you think about when you think about God, okay? So what comes into your mind? What's the first thing that you think about? So shall we do that just in a minute or so? Let's just chat to our lovely friends. Fantastic. Let's bring this discussion to a close. Does everyone have a Bible? Everyone got Bibles? No. It's okay, you just have to listen very carefully. I'll read all the scriptures out. So, who would like to volunteer? Put your hand up. Yes, she does.
I usually more than the evidence.
What did your group discuss? What was the first thing that your group said? What's this? So like when you think about God, what did you guys say? So that God is present, He's with us. Yeah, that's a fantastic answer. Well done, Jess. Anyone else? Yes.
You just said pure.
Pure. Whoa, that's getting closer, getting warmer to where I'm going. That's really good. Anyone else? How about these girls? Are you allowed to call girls girls? Someone told me it was rude these days. Whoa.
Who is this?
Hold on a minute, that was like ringtones 15 years ago. Is Eminem still going? How about you, lovely girls? Any answers? Wow, people are writing notes down. This is a whole nother level. Oh, are they? Okay. Yeah, I'm just studying really hard right now, Josh. Sorry, I can't answer. Wow. That's the first thing you think. You should go in the other meeting. That's just amazing. What about over this side? Any you? How about you two? Yeah, so that's a really good answer. Cool guys, I hope that was helpful. The point of all of that was I hope that you didn't say what I'm going to say, which you didn't, or someone was close. But so I guess today what I want to look at with you guys is that God is many things, isn't He? Yeah. Let's just say some things. God is good. Good. God is great. God's faithful. God is love. Yeah. But all of these things, there's one thing that's connected to all of these things, and that is this: God is holy. Okay? That God is holy. That's who He is. In His character and who He is, God is holy. And if you aren't sure what that is, well, great day. We're going to be looking at it together. So, has anyone heard of A.W. Tozer? Yeah. So, quite a lot of people preach, and when they quote this dude, it's like the brownie points because he's awesome. But here's one of the things he said once. He says, what comes into our minds when we think about God is the most important thing about us. Okay, so what comes into our minds when we think about God is the most important thing about us. That's huge, isn't it? Because if you think God is this really angry person who's waiting for you to do something wrong and then he's gonna, I don't know, smite you or hurt you, and he's just waiting, he's just watching. Are you going to do anything wrong today? Because if you are, I'm going to get you. If you think that is who God is, your whole life will be centered around that. Your view of God how you have a relationship with God will always be centered around that. So you'll always be trying not to do anything bad, and you'll be really afraid if you do something bad, and you won't know if you're forgiven. And so it's really important that how you view God, what you think about when you think about God, will change your life. It really will. On the other hand, if you think God is love, and he's really caring, and he's faithful, then you know that, hey, you know what, I can be free, and if I do something bad, then I know that God forgives me, I know that he cares about me, and there's nothing I can ever do to make him not love me. And that's such a freeing way of living, isn't it? Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. So, we're going to look at God as being holy. And I read this article once, and the guy said, have we forgot the holiness of God? Have we forgot about it? And no one said it, so I think he's got a point. Maybe we've forgotten about the holiness of God. I'm going to read a quote from this article. Listen really carefully. It says, we love talking about God's love. Just drop in one of our church services and listen. You'll hear worship choruses dripping with lyrics that border on romantic. The sermon will gush with assurances of God's affection. While such affirmations are good, we need reminders, don't we, of God's love? But rarely do we speak of God's majesty, let alone whisper a word about his wrath. Among young Christians, this one-sided view of God is especially striking. Jesus is a homeboy. God is the big guy upstairs. Talk of God's holiness is dismissed as judgmental or legalistic. So we're not saying that God isn't love, are we? You're a little bit quiet. Come on. No, Josh, we're not saying that. We're not saying that God isn't love, and we're not saying that God's not justice, are we? But we're saying that at who God is, at his very essence, he is holy. That's who he is. At his very core, God is holy. But the question this guy's asking, and we do it sometimes, what do I get? What do you get out of saying God is holy? What do we get out of it? What does it do for me, saying God is holy? Because I can talk about God's love, and that affects me, doesn't it? Because God, and I say God's faithful, and that affects me. And God, but God's holiness, well, I don't really care about that. How does God's holiness affect my life? That's a little bit boring. It's got nothing to do with me. But really listen carefully. If you listen to anything, listen to this. So even if you say, I don't want God's holiness, okay, I just want his love, yeah? Even if you choose God's love over his holiness, the sad thing is you would end up losing both. Why is that? Because the affection and love of someone who is just your best buddy, yeah, someone who's just all familiar, it's just not the magnificent love of an almighty holy God. Okay, it just isn't. It's just an inferior love. Only the love, listen to this, only the love of an almighty and holy God, only this love would be remarkable. And only when you and I begin to realise his holiness will you also be overwhelmed by his love, okay? Only when you begin to realise God's holiness will you also be overwhelmed by his love, okay? Because otherwise, it's not great love. It's just the best, but it's just a mate who loves you. But if God, if the all-holy creator of the universe loves you, that's magnificent. That's amazing, isn't it? That's even greater. Just this morning, actually, I kind of swapped everything around what I was going to say, so I hope the slides are in order. I think they are. But the point of this, guys, is take away God's holiness from God's love, God's faithfulness, or God's spirit, and what do you have? You have an inferior God. We don't want to worship an inferior God. Cool. So, next question. What do you guys think holiness... That's just someone taking a selfie. What does it mean? What does it look like? How does it affect us? So, Bible time. Those who do have a Bible, let's turn to the book of Isaiah. You already there? Oh yeah, sorry. The book of Isaiah is in the Old Testament. And middle-ish, go past the Psalms. You should find it. You're doing really well, guys. You're listening. You're not talking. Really proud of you. I am. You all got great answers. Okay, time to get... I mean, I don't even know what this is. Does anyone know who this is?
Isaiah.
Yeah, Isaiah. So I just typed in Isaiah. I don't know, what is he? Is he Usain Bolt? Is he taking a selfie? Wow, you have a great granddad. So, 700 years. It's a long time, isn't it? 700 years before Jesus came to the earth, this man was born. And does anyone know who Isaiah is? He's a prophet. That guy, yeah, that guy. He's a pretty epic prophet. In the Bible, we have prophetic books. We have major prophets, Ezekiel, Jeremiah. We have minor prophets, Hosea, Micah. Why are they called minor and major? How big they are, not how important they are. It's how much they wrote. Okay. What's this? Not the key that they're in. Yeah. I said it and thought, I'll get it if I say it. And I said, I get it now, yeah. If you have any more jokes. Oh no, I just said, okay, I bumped into Tom Jones the other day.
Yeah. Why?
I see him all the time. It's not unusual.
I was like that.
Right, listen, kid. Last night, yeah, I was halfway through, you're listening, I was halfway through eating a chess set. Yeah. I thought, I was halfway through eating a chess set, and I took it back to the shop. I said, this just doesn't taste right. He says, what's wrong with it? And I said, it's stale, mate. Wait. He said, are you sure? I said, checkmate. Right, let's get into the jokes. Right, over. Please, you have to stop me. Okay, so we are in Isaiah. Isaiah. Sorry? Whoa. Isaiah what, Josh? Right? It's technically this verse. I want to introduce Isaiah. So Isaiah, 700 years before Jesus, God sent Isaiah, a prophet, and said, I want you to speak to my people. I want you to give them this message of my plan for them to restore them. And Isaiah is such an epic book, some people have called it the fifth gospel. Can you believe that? Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, Isaiah. And 2 years, so Isaiah 6, if you're really that bothered. Isaiah 6. Okay, so Isaiah was a prophet for 52 years, right? And 2 years, imagine that, 52 years. And 2 years into his prophetic ministry, Isaiah had an incredible experience. Okay, he had a life-changing experience. So let's read together. If you don't have a Bible, just listen to me. It says this. Verse 1, chapter 6. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord. So, to make me very, very, very happy, does anyone who know who Uzziah was? He was a king. Definitely not Isaiah's evil twin. Maybe. I don't know. There might be a scholarly breakthrough that finds out. Uzziah, okay, was a pretty amazing king. If you read the book of Kings, what you find out is, and there was this king and he was great, and there was this king and he wasn't great, and there was this king and he was great. And Uzziah, if you had a list of kings, he was like, hey guys. And do you know what's incredible? He was 16 when he became king. So if Uzziah came to the Big Church weekend, he would probably be with us in this room, listening about himself. I'm going to be king. So, why is Uzziah so great? This is really important. Because he brought God's people into a golden age, yeah? He made everything great. He built new buildings. He had a massive army. He made everyone quite wealthy, made everyone quite healthy. You can read about this in your Bible. You know, he defeated anyone who tried to attack them. Their armies defeated them. And so what do we have? Yeah, this is only chapter 6, and Isaiah is 2 years into being a prophet. He's got 50 more left. So if you was a prophet and you had a great king and everything was fantastic, you would kind of think, well, why am I needed? You know, I can just sit back, chill out. You know, I don't know. What would he do if he was here? Snapchat, I don't know. What would he do? Watch Netflix and eat pizza. Okay, he would do that. Why would Isaiah do this? Because he's thinking, well, Uzziah's pretty much got it all covered, you know. It's all great. Why am I even needed? Why did God call me as a prophet? You know, I'm meant to be prophesying stuff when stuff's going wrong, and Uzziah's fantastic. But what happens? The worst possible thing happens. This amazing king, Uzziah, who's made everything fantastic, he's just died.
Oh no.
Oh no!
He's still 16.
He's not 16 now. Yeah, imagine that. And when a king dies, this is important, when a king dies, all vision, all hope, because people are looking to this king, it just dies with him. So, put yourself in Isaiah's shoes. How are you feeling? I'm feeling down. Uzziah, come on, why'd you have to die on me? His friends are probably worried about Isaiah, you know. Where's this guy gone? We've not seen him, you know. He's not been on Snapchat in 2 days. Is he okay? How's he doing? Isaiah, how are you, buddy? And he's thinking, how can I rely on anyone? You know, who can I rely on now? Uzziah's died. So in this crazy and hopeless situation, what did Isaiah need? Jesus. So imagine, guys, crazy situation you're in, yeah? You put your hope in something. Crazy situation. What do we need? What does Isaiah need? These are rhetorical questions. Only when I say, let's discuss something. But yeah, good shout. What do we need? We need a vision of God's holiness. Okay? We need a vision of a true and powerful, the true and powerful ruler. Okay? In the year Uzziah died, what happens? Isaiah saw the true king, didn't he? Yeah? So he'd previously fixed all of his hope on earthly kings, and now Isaiah, from this point, would go, you know what? Uzziah's gone, and I'm probably going to have to really rely on the true king, God. So let's keep reading. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord, high and exalted, seated on a throne, and the train of his robe filled the temple. So try and imagine this, even if you have to close your eyes, whatever. Just imagine this, what's happening here. This is Isaiah in the throne room. Above him were seraphim. The word seraphim literally means a fiery burning thing. Each of these fiery burning things had 6 wings. With 2 wings they covered their faces, with 2 they covered their feet, and with 2 they were flying. Okay, so the seraphims crowded around the throne, they have to hide their face from God's glory, they have to hide their feet from his glory, and the floor's so holy they have to float as well. And they were calling to one another, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord Almighty. The whole earth is full of his glory." And at the sound of their voices, the doorposts and threshold shook, and the temple was filled with smoke. This is terrifying. This is happening right now in heaven. This is terrifying. Holy, holy, holy. So imagine Isaiah was here and we did that thing where we asked him, what was the first thing that came into your mind? What do you think Isaiah would have said?
Woe is me.
I think we would have found Isaiah in that corner, just shaking, going, "Holy, holy, holy." Isaiah, are you okay? What have you seen, Isaiah? And guys, come on, we see this in our Bibles all the time. People see God, encounter God, whatever, they fall on the floor. He's too holy. And God, almost 900 times we have holy, holy is God. Awesome. And we said, didn't we, at the start, everything, his love, his faithfulness, is all connected to God's holiness. Here's a quote from a dude. Would anyone like to read that? With a loud voice. You can use the microphone if you want. Chance to use the microphone. Going once.
The Bible says that God is holy, holy, holy. Not that he is merely holy, or even holy, holy. He is holy, holy, holy. The Bible never says that God is love, 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 or mercy, 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 or wrath, 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 or justice, justice, justice. It does say that he is holy, holy, holy. The whole earth is filled with his glory.
Thank you, Luke.
I guess that's good.
Cool. Do you get that? Okay. Again, we're not saying that God isn't love, but what are we saying? Okay. What's God's love? It's holy love. What's God's justice? What's God's power? His spirit. Wait, so I did that. Got you.
Cool.
Got you. Don't worry, we will have videos, and you. Come on, videos always keep us going. So we've talked about holiness. We've looked at Isaiah, and we're just going to ask this next question: what is it? What does it mean? What does it actually mean? You can say someone's holy, but what does that mean? Anyone want to shout it out? What does this? So when you call God holy, when you call something holy, what does it mean? Different. That's a very good word. Different. Very good word. Anything else?
Greater.
What's that?
Greater.
Creator. Greater. Yeah, greater. Above. Different. These are all good words. Anyone else? One more. Set apart. There we go.
I say that.
You didn't say that. Luke, you didn't even say that. Yeah, so if you had to define it, get the word, what it really means, it's to be set apart, it's to be separate, okay? So when God says, "You are my holy people," yeah, what's he saying? He's saying you're set apart, you're different from anything else, you're different from the world, you're set apart. And God is set apart, God is holy. And I like what Shajaz said, he said different, okay? That's massive, isn't it? God is different from anything he's ever made, okay? God is different from anything he's ever made. He's not like us. He's separate, he's unique, he's distinct. Has anybody heard of the book of Leviticus?
Yeah,
Leviticus.
Water. Is it anyone's favourite book?
Yeah.
No.
Chapter 18 is great. Chapter 18, Leviticus.
I know it's probably not our favourite book, but if you were a Jewish child growing up, the first book you would have to read was Leviticus.
Yeah.
It's the first book, you got to read it.
That's if you're Jewish.
That is if you're Jewish. I'm just making a point. Come on. You're not going to make me read it. It's true though, isn't it? We're like, just go to John. Just read John. The Jews are like, Leviticus, stop it. So it is interesting though, isn't it? And what's it all about? What's Leviticus all about? Leviticus is all about how can we approach a holy God. The book before, Exodus, is all about how can we get God, this holy, awesome person, how can we get him to live with us? What happens in Exodus? They build a tabernacle, and they build all these things around so that God can come and live with his people. Next book, Leviticus. All right, we have God's presence here, but we're not holy, so how do we approach him? So Leviticus is all about how do we approach God. Because we know, don't we? We sin, we mess up, we become unclean, and we cannot approach God. I'm going to show a video now to help to explain it. Really cool people, actually, guys called Bible Project. They get graphic designers and scholars, and they work together. So there are two voices. One's a scholar, one's like a graphic designer. And he's like, I don't understand anything. And the other guy's like explaining. So they're called the Bible Project. They're really, really cool. They've got videos on everything, every book of the Bible. So you should play them to you. Great. What did we learn from that video? God is holy. Duh, I've said it a lot. One of the lines I really liked is the metaphor about the sun, yeah? That it's not that it's bad, but because it's so good. I love that, yeah? It's so good that if you get near, it's dangerous. And I will leave you on that cliffhanger, and then we'll see how we can get near. Cool, so God is different from anything he's ever made. So let's go back to Isaiah. If you have one of those ribbons in your Bible, leave it in Isaiah, basically, because I'll go to another scripture and it's just easier to jump back. So remember what just happened. Isaiah just had this amazing encounter, burning winged creatures shouting, holy, holy, holy. And what does Isaiah say next? He says this. Woe to me! Okay, I cried. I am ruined. That literally means I'm about to die. Okay, literally, no jokes. For I am a man of unclean lips, and I live among a people of unclean lips, and my eyes have seen the King, the Lord Almighty. So what's the first thing that comes to Isaiah's lips? When he encounters God's holiness, when he encounters his glory, what was it? Woe is me. So notice how Isaiah doesn't say, I love this, because this is what I would think I would do. God, I'm really sorry. Please have mercy. Please, God, I'm really sorry. No, he doesn't even get to that stage. He goes one step further and he's like, I'm going to die. Woe is me. Oh my goodness. I hope this ends quickly. He knows, guys. He knows he's unclean. He's impure, and he comes and he approaches God. He knows his case is hopeless. He's not even going to try and put up a case because he knows the best thing he can do is hide behind a pillar or something. I don't know, what would you do in the temple? When Isaiah sees God, he quickly realizes how unholy he is compared to God. Okay? He sees God's awesome holiness and he's ruined. If you would like to turn to 2 Samuel chapter 6. So don't worry, guys, holding with God being holy and us not being holy. See how long we can hold in, because eventually we'll look at Jesus and he makes us holy. 2 Samuel chapter 6. So every day, guys, we must acknowledge God's holiness. And it doesn't have to be, I'm so afraid. It is that as well, but it can just be, wow, I mean, this guy's awesome. Look how holy he is. Look how holy my God is. It can be that. So 2 Samuel chapter 6, and it says this. You might know this story. David, again, brought together all the able young men of Israel, 30,000. He and all his men went to Baalah in Judah to bring up from there the ark of God, which is called by name, the name of the Lord Almighty, who is enthroned between the cherubim on the ark. They set the ark of God on a new cart and brought it from the house of Abinadab, which was on the hill. Abinadab is like the house of, so there's people who live there. Next verse, Luke. Uzzah and Ahio, sons of Abinadab, were guiding the new cart with the ark of God on it, and Ahio was walking in front of it. David and all Israel were celebrating with their might. This is, imagine the happy scene. Yay, we've got the ark of God, and we'll look at a picture of that. It is the presence of God. We've finally got it. We've got the presence of God. We've got the hope. We've got God with us. Everyone's celebrating with harps, lyres, cymbals, and guitars, and whatever. Verse 6. When they came to the threshing floor of Nacon, Uzzah, reached out and took hold of the ark of God, because the oxen, which was being carried on the cart, stumbled. The Lord's anger burned against Uzzah because of his irreverent act. Therefore God struck him down, and he died there, beside the ark of God. Then David was angry, because the Lord's wrath had broken out against Uzzah, and to this day that place is called Perez Uzzah. Great. So, I used to read this and think, what are all these stupid names? But I also used to read this, and I used to sympathise with David and think, that's not really nice, God. We're just having a great time there, celebrating you, and you just go and kill Uzzah. I mean, that's not fair. I mean, I don't know if I want to celebrate anymore. Imagine if that happened. You just wouldn't come to church, would you? Why would God do this? Yeah? That's not very nice. What do we know about the Ark of the Covenant? Anybody know?
It was in an Indiana Jones film.
It was in an Indiana Jones film. Come on, Luke, you're going to be better than that. I've said it really. It's God on earth, we looked in the video, that it called it the hotspot, That's where that's the most holy place. You have the holy place, go a little bit further in, you have the most holy place. That's like you can't even go in there. Only a priest can go in there once a year. It's that holy, What's that? Well, you can't go and then say nothing. This slide is a picture of it. Here it is. I found it, took a picture. Yeah? Look at it. Don't look at it for too long. If you've seen Indiana Jones, you will die. And this is how it should be carried. So, if we read the story like we just read, what have we learned from the pictures? Yeah, so that's the description. But the most important thing, verse 3, they set the ark on a cart, And this is dishonouring to the holiness of God, because he didn't tell you this is how you should carry it. He told you that's how you should carry it. Come on, you've got thousands of men. Why are you just dumping it on a cart? On a trolley. Just trolling it around. This isn't Tesco. This is... Sorry, Tony, story joke. And we learn also the house of Abinadab, Uzzah, This guy, this is where they got the ark from. He had it in his house for a pretty long time. He probably became a bit too familiar with it. What's in here? Oh, that's just the Ark of the Covenant. Do you know what I mean? Just kind of, I don't really care. And how are we going to get this to Jerusalem? Oh, let's put it on a cart. There's this dishonouring of God's presence. So God's holiness is terrifying, okay? It's dangerous. This is a powerful story, isn't it? Because it reminds us that we can't afford to mishandle or forget about God and just think, oh, that's just the Ark of the Covenant in there. So Isaiah 6. I thought someone said something to me. Isaiah 6. Now something amazing is about to happen, okay? Good time. Okay, cool. Are we there? Isaiah 6. So remember, Isaiah is all woe is me, okay? And he's pretty much right to be doing that. And you would think he's just about to die. He's impure. He just said it. My lips are impure. He has unclean lips. He knows it. He's going to die. Then something amazing happens. So read this. Then one of the seraphim flew to me with a live coal in his hand, which he had taken with tongs from the altar. And with it he touched my mouth and said, "See, this has touched your lips. Your guilt is taken away, and your sin is atoned for." Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, "Whom shall I send? Who will go for us?" And I said, "Here I am, send me." There we go. So, what on earth just happened? Okay, you see, despite God's awesome holiness, that we've just been looking at, God cannot help but love and offer relation to us. Okay? We are made clean. We are made holy like God. And through the symbolism of the coal that we just looked at, God cleanses Isaiah. Okay? He makes him holy. God cleanses us. He makes us holy. And while Isaiah was kind of like mute and terrified and just kind of squeamish, all of a sudden what's happened? He's like, "Send me." He's had this growth in his confidence and he's like, "No, God, I've seen how awesome and holy you are and you've cleansed me. Send me. I've got nothing. I'm not afraid of anything now." Next video. I found this video the other day and it's really cool. It's the same video, but I've split it up into 3. So, whom shall I send? Tony's got the inquisitive eyebrows. Who will go for us? And I said, "Here I am, send me." Okay? Cool. I love that when he said, God doesn't reveal himself to, what did he say? Like kill us or whatever, but to transform us. Okay? So God has revealed himself to us and to transform us. John 6, you don't have to turn that, I'll read it. It says this. When evening came, Jesus' disciples went down to the lake, where they got into a boat and set off across the lake of Capernaum. By now it was dark, and Jesus had not yet joined them. A strong wind was blowing, and waters grew rough. When they had rowed about 3 or 4 miles, they saw Jesus approaching the boat. Okay, walking on the water. They were frightened. But he said to them, "It is I, don't be afraid." It is I, don't be afraid. God doesn't want us to be afraid, okay? Next verse, again, you don't have to turn there. I turned around to see the voice. This is Revelation chapter 1. It says this. This is John. I turned around to see the voice that was speaking to me. And when I turned, I saw 7 golden lampstands, and among the lampstands was someone like a son of man, dressed in a robe, reaching down to his feet, with a golden sash around his chest. The hair on his head was white like wool, and as white as snow, and his eyes were like blazing fire. His feet were like bronze glowing in a furnace, and his voice was like the sound of rushing waters. In his right hand he held 7 stars, and coming out of his mouth was a sharp double-edged sword. His face was like the sun shining in all its brilliance. When I saw him, I fell at his feet as though dead. So does that sound familiar? Sounds just like what we just read in Isaiah. Then this happens. Then he placed his right hand on me and said, "Do not be afraid. I am the first and the last. I am the living one. I was dead, and look, I am alive forever and ever. Cool. So I'm going to show the final part of the video. So God has now made us holy. We can approach Him. What does this mean? Awesome. So if I could just ask if the worship team would like to come up. So I'd like it if we could all stand together. Right, guys, if we could all stand up. And what I want us to do is, I just want us to close our eyes. Is that possible? Don't close your eyes. I want you to open your eyes, and I want you to copy what I'm doing now. And then do this. And do this. Sorry, that's all I've got. I don't know anything. So, if you just close your eyes, everyone. I want to ask, I'm going to talk to your heart, so I'm just going to ask this. If you personally, in your own heart, you don't feel clean, you feel like you've been messing around with stuff you shouldn't have been, or I don't know, you don't feel like you can be in God's presence. I want you to know that that fiery coal has been impressed on you and has made you pure. It's made you holy so that no matter what you do, you will always be able to enter God's presence. I'm just going to ask if the prayer people, just over here, as the worship team just play for us, I really want to encourage you guys to take a step of faith. As I walked in and I saw the worship team playing, yeah, I was like, why is everyone so far back over there? Seriously, some people are like, I'm just going to stay by this door, Josh. I'm alright. And I just asked God, can speak to me, what is this? And I really felt God saying, in order for you to approach me as God, there's some things you have to lay down. And one of those things God said to me was that maybe there's people in this room that feel a bit insecure, feel kind of like, I don't want to raise my hands, I don't want to go for it. I don't get that, choose one path. You're either a Christian or you're not. Okay. Either go for it or don't. Because ultimately, you're at a Christian weekend away. It doesn't get any more embarrassing than that. When you go back to Manchester or wherever, Huddersfield, wherever, people are going to say, what did you do this weekend? Oh, I went to a Christian conference centre with my Christian friends. Okay, so you've gone out now, you've come out of the closet, you are a Christian, full on embarrassing. So I just want to encourage you guys, if you feel like, so a couple of points, if you don't feel worthy, if you feel dirty, you feel like you need someone to speak encouragement over you, okay, you've done something wrong, I don't know, then go over, get prayer, receive encouragement, or I don't know, maybe you just feel distant from God. you just not really felt close to Him this weekend. Or maybe you've not been close to Him at all and you just feel like you need to repent, you need to completely change your life around. And maybe you just think, I am pretty insecure, I will not raise my hands, and maybe you need to be released of that and you need to be freed from living in a free relationship with God. So just as the band play, and if there's anything stirring in your heart, don't fight against it, okay? This is breakthrough, this is a moment of freedom. So there are people over here who love to pray for you, love to encourage you. I just really believe God's going to do stuff. He's going to break chains off of us. He's going to free us. Awesome.